Good morning. We are 9 days out from Toronto and I wanted to give you all some updates. So we are doing my last leg session today. I'm going to walk you through that. And being it is, I train legs on Friday. So the show's on Sunday, which I usually don't change my split. I just let it roll. So train legs every 7 days, have an extra 2 days off will be perfectly fine. Today, I'm just got done assessing my look, and yesterday I hit a body weight low, which was 230 pounds on the dot, which for me, that's pretty low, lower than I want to be. It felt super flat, so ran a 500 gram carb high day, which is about 130 grams over my base plan. Also lowered steps down and removed clenbuterol. Fat loss is over, so it can come out. And weight came up this morning to 231.2, so which is about fine. I'm definitely not full. You can see my fasted video pics here assessing. I realized why do I look so washed out in these damn things? I was using my the wrong camera. I just realized. So, but all good. You get the idea here. Conditions on point, just not extremely full, and that wasn't the point of the high day either. It was just to make sure I slow down and don't have a deficit anymore. I want to be eating at maintenance. So plan today is keep my steps at 10,000 and train legs. Also back on my base diet, which is 380 grams of carbs, 330 grams of protein, 55 grams of fat. So that's the diet that is going in for today. And we'll get meal one in and then go train. Okay, we're at the Muscle Factory in San Antonio, Texas for leg day. 9 days out, and I got pulled over a ticket on the way here, and I didn't have a front license plate on my new car. And that's what I got ticketed for. But man, so many cars don't have front license plates. This session won't be drastically different from what I normally do. For one, I'm not carrying a lot of fatigue, so I don't have to make major adjustments to drop that fatigue in my training. However, we are pulled down to very low body fat levels, and we are only 9 days away, so it's no need to do anything excessively crazy or extreme today either. We're trying to grind out every last ounce of a rep, so there'll be some minor adjustments made today. So we'll start with leg extension. 2 sets here. Beginning of prep, I had 3 sets. That was from the off season trailing in. Had dropped off a set about midway through prep. So now we're just staying here with the same 2 sets, staying in this close to 15 rep range on these work sets. And I've been doing these all off season long like this. It's kept me safe. Once I move on to my main compound movement and get some direct stimulus in my quads before, it's not systemically fatiguing either. So I still have, good performance on my other lifts. That was a really good set. I was up 2 reps from last time. I think bracing was just felt really, really good. On these squat patterns, mistake I see so many people make is not have the right foot pressure. What you want is mid-foot pressure, which is gonna feel like an equal balance of pressure on your big toe and your heel. So when I get set up, before I initiate the squat, I put a lot of pressure down into that big toe. And what that does is internally rotate that femur, which it lines up everything. Your knee in the right direction for the toe. It keeps that knee from traveling outward and rolling to the outside of your foot, which also is a less productive spot for your glute to work as well. So it's a very strong position to lift in, a very braced position with joints lining up as they should be functioning. So if you get a lot of knee pain in your squat, the first thing that I would do would be looking at how you're cueing the foot. If you're using like a running shoe with a big cushion on it, that's already, a big mistake there, because it's like trying to squat in sand. You're lacking stability. So I would use something like a minimal shoe, or if you need a heel elevation, like using a heel elevated Olympic lifting shoe with a big toe box would be ideal. So one set here, we'll move on to leg curl. All right, moving on to a seated leg curl. So I had a little tweak in my hamstring a few weeks back. I've talked about this before, but I pulled out RDLs, progressed back to a lying leg curl, now to a seated leg curl, so training the hamstrings fully stretched. I'm so close to the show, I'm not bringing my RDL back in, but I can fully train hams. There's no issue here. So I just do all my volume on the seated leg curl for right now, 5 sets. One thing I would say, if you ever get speaking on knee pain in your leg curl, is some people really want to externally rotate the hip, just like they do in their squat. And what happens is that knee, instead of pointing up directly into that pad with the lining up with the line of force, it starts pointing outward. So you might get some tibial rotation with that foot rotating out, and can cause some medial knee pain. So make sure in your leg curls, your knee is pointing up directly to the sky, and your hips are actually hip width. And I like to cue in these as I leg curl, drive the quad up into the pad. It really just gives you a great brace to just use the hamstring. Also, you'll notice like I'm driving my hands down into the pad and it'll be like a tension that I'm pressing into my lower back. And this helps prevent that pelvis from rotating as well. So basically just trying to only move at the knee joint for these. One thing to really keep in mind with leg training the last weeks is that I've also been tapering up my posing, which posing your quads can be very fatiguing and accumulating connective tissue fatigue. And a lot of what we do in posing is this hard external rotation, which really puts a lot of torque in the knee. So what you want to do if you're then escalating up your posing work is also come in here and just smash legs like you normally would. You just need to be mindful that that's driving an extra addition of leg fatigue. So that's why I do have still volume dialed back a little bit this week. Even on my squat, like I could have grinded out probably another rep or two, but I just don't need to at this point. I don't need the risk either. So just a consideration point if you have been tapering up posing work and on these last weeks leading to. So last exercise will be Cybex single leg press. So this is a quad bias leg press. When a leg press moves towards you and also down, it creates just a lot of knee flexion. Other leg presses, like a hammer strength hip press or Rogers hip press, they move towards you, but also rotate upwards. So now you're having to get into a lot of hip flexion. So that would be more of a glute bias leg press. So for today's session, my squat pattern has some hip travel back and of course some knee flexion. So it's a balance of like quad and glute. So my leg press pattern is very quad focused. My other leg day that I rotate in is the opposite. So I start with a very quad bias squat pattern, pendulum squat, and then my unilateral pattern is a rear foot elevated split squat. So it's quad glute focused. So that's how I rotate my days to give balance to glute and quad development. Just 2 sets here on the leg press, and that wraps up my leg day session. So just 5 sets of quads. Off season, I'm doing like 7 sets of quads, and that'll like grow my quads. So this is getting down towards a minimal volume for me. I know I could probably do a little less and still maintain, but my range for moving between maintenance to what actually grows my quads, it doesn't take much. I just get a lot out of them. Hamstrings, again, 5 sets. Off season, we'd see that move up to 7, 8 sets. So getting down again towards like a lower effective volume, but still something that's productive, because like I said earlier, I'm not that fatigued. But anyway, that'll wrap up the 9-day out lake session. I'll keep updating you. Hopefully I can get one more video out before the show, and look forward to it.